Dear children, it is my monastic duty to welcome the guest monk. I don't think that it is necessary to introduce him to you because he has already given Dhamma talks at this temple, Toronto Mahavihara. Anyway, uh, program is to invoke blessings upon Nisal, Malmi, and Senu, and all the other children in Dhamma school. So that is the purpose of the sponsorship. I am very happy, Venerable Kusala, for uh, being here at this moment. I wish you good health and long life to convey your carry of spreading Dhamma in the world. I wish you good health and long life. Thank you. I invite you to continue the program. Thank you.
Thank you, Naika Hamdurne. So, to begin with, I invite all the children who are present here to join your palms together and say Namo Tassa 3 times with me. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, so venerable members of Mahasangha, particularly Bhante Nayaka Hamduro. Allow me to say the name. Hangama Ratanasri Nayaka Hamduro gave a very nice, very kind introduction, encouraging us young monks and appreciating the work we have been doing. And I know that Bhante Vijita, a very wonderful monk, he was present with you this morning and shared some wisdom of the Buddha. And you are also getting the guidance from the other venerable monks at your temple and from other places, particularly Bhante Revata and the other venerable monks who are there, always available and doing their utmost best to share Dhamma and teach some wisdom from the Buddha this Vesak. So I am privileged and I am delighted to be present, and I see about hundreds of students present this morning for this meditation and Dhamma discussion. And I also received a bunch of very nice questions, and I see how provocative they are, and that we will be covering these questions, and you may as well participate in the best ways you can to make the best use of this event. So first things first, I invite you all to silence. Make sure your microphone is muted. I see there's one unmuted. And if that is muted, I think we'll have a very quiet. Does Rook 7 culture have to be on, or can it be also muted? If that can be done, that I would appreciate that. So, okay, let's, because you listened to Dhamma already, it would be nice to begin with meditation. So you hear my bell. And please sit in a straight body position, having closed your eyes with a gentle smile on your face. And we will begin a body scanning to make sure we feel comfortable and relaxed. To begin with, take a deep breath in and release. Okay, relax your shoulders, keeping them not too tight, not too loose. Your neck in a straight position. Your spine also not leaning forward or backward or not too tightly connected to your seat. Slowly your attention goes to your breath. So you remain relaxed to get the best use of this quiet meditation time with my guided instructions. How about paying attention to your earlobes, your ears that you have and you hear sounds? Maybe you can turn your head a little bit to relax your ears. Your jaws, the mouth that you use for talking, your jaws need to relax. How about your sitting bones? You can adjust them, but with mindfulness. Arvin is not muted. Thank you, Arvin. And you pay attention to the rush of thoughts in your mind. They are present and then they vanish. Pay attention to the soles of your feet, the parts of your body that touch your seat, connecting with the ground. Now you are getting rooted, deeply, deeply rooted to the ground. How relaxed do you feel from a scale of 1 to 10? And what can you do to bring that relaxation level to the most relaxed, 10 being the most relaxed? Deeply grounded, now you bring all your attention to the core of your body, to the heart base. Ever so mindful, you breathe in, sustaining your attention, you breathe out. Seeing, hearing has stopped. Tasting has stopped. Body is relaxed. Physical sensations slowly stopped. Smelling has stopped. Now the brain begins to relax. The strongest physical sensation is the breath that is happening now. If it is in other parts, relax, adjust. Sarani got muted. When you can't breathe in the past or in the future, you are breathing now. So your attention is focused on breath, meaning you are staying present here and now. Breathe in mindfully, breathe out mindfully. When everything else gone, you have your breath as the activity. Breathe in again. Slowly breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out and relax. Now taking a long breath. You know it. Taking a short breath. You know you are taking a short breath. Long breath. Inhale. Long breath. Exhale. Short breath. Inhale. Short breath. Exhale. Long breath or short breath. You are mindful about them. From body to the movement of breath now, just a movement. There is a movement. That is it. Now the breath almost disappears and comes back. You are aware. Now your focus is on silencing your thoughts. Keep a gap between each thought and widen the gap, and you are still slightly aware of your inhaling and exhaling, but not much strongly involved with the body. Your attention moves to the luminous light of the mind, lightness, tranquility, very little, very subtle breathing, but the body is anyways breathing because you are so relaxed. You sometimes want to breathe heavy, and you do that, but there is so much freedom and relaxation. You are connected with the outer world, with the space, to the cosmos, with the vibrations, with the sunlight, the clouds. Now you are floating in that space like a cloud. Almost levitating, without using any drugs, without using any medications. You have taken control of the mind-body energy. Now you are immersed in silence, silence of mind and silence of everything, the body, mind. You see, you notice an expansion of the mind with the light to the infinity. No dark spots. This was cultivated by effort, virya. This is one way to give yourself a break out of metta, maitri, friendliness toward yourself, friendliness toward your pets and animals, holding them gently in your mind, close to your heart. They love it. You can do this to the infinity. You don't want them to be frightened. You hold them dear. Tisarani, stay muted, please. Just the same way you hold your dear friends in a beautiful space in your mind and your heart, your blood. Every cell connects with them non-judgmentally, seeing the beauty of them. Virtually connecting with them, thinking, may good things happen to them. so that you also be rewarded by that thought. When you practice this kind of benevolence, you feel you get the benefits. You are the first one to receive the benefits of it. These are not just thoughts, these are loving friendliness. Friendly thoughts, wholesome kusal thoughts. You can't separate any beings. There are long beings, short beings, elephants, giant beings. Nobody likes to be locked in a cage. At a time like this, in a pandemic, we feel locked ourselves sometimes, locked in our memories. Just one last thing before I end this meditation. Your mind is an infinite space. We live in this mind. We don't live in our homes. We live in this infinite space. Homes are limited. Mind is unlimited. So make sure regrets are not piling in it. You live in peace, not in pieces. With that thought and inspiration, gently relax and wait until you hear the bell so you can come out of the meditation. Take time to come out of the meditation. Begin turning your neck and gently opening your eyes. I trust you had a good meditation. Who enjoyed the meditation? Can raise your hand to tell me that you enjoyed the meditation. Thank you, Tejan. Thank you, Tesarani. Thank you, Nora. Vindhya, Ruhan, and I don't see the other name. You too. Okay, thank you all. So I think because of the time constraints, we need to jump straight into the questions that you asked. Um, Before that, do you have any questions for me? If you do, I appreciate that you raise your hand so that I can come to you. Because I don't want you all to be getting involved with the chat box, so that Dharani has a question. Go ahead, Dharani.
Okay. When we're doing meditation, sometimes our mind goes somewhere. How do you like?
No, I can hear you. Can others hear, Dharani? My volume is at 96.
When we're doing meditation,
Hmm?
like sometimes our minds go somewhere. How do we control it?
Yeah, so see, we did the meditation in a systematic way. Did you notice that, Dharani? That we didn't just jump straight into our mind. I mentioned about the light and everything. We weren't even trying to control the directions of where it should go. All we did was relaxing the body as best as we could, right? And then slowly bringing our attention to our breath. When you were focused on breath, you were able to stay focused as far as you could. And then you might have realized that you were kind of getting out of the wandering mind. That is because you had a focus. It's like a ship getting anchored in one place. So the anchor for you was your breath. Therefore, I instruct you all next time when you think of doing meditation, use a tool like that. Your breath is always present. Okay, until you breathe the last breath. In whenever that happens, your breath is always present and it's happening now. It's not happening in the past. It's not happening in the future. So stay with breath, and without you knowing, your mind is relaxed. Your mind doesn't go, it eventually stops wandering. So our goal should not be to control the mind's directions. The goal should be to stay present with one thing, and that one thing helps. I think you got the idea. So
Amen.
thank you, Dharani. So before I go to other, oh, okay, Kiana, go ahead.
Does meditation take away all your bad dreams?
Yes, meditation takes, particularly Buddha says, na papakang supinam pasati. Papaka means evil dreams, like nightmares. You don't see them. This is the Buddha's word. When you do meditation, pay attention to friendliness meditation. You know, if you see a monster under the bed, you know, with your friendliness, you put that monster in an imaginary bubble of friendship, and and then you play with it. You just, oh, you are in that bubble. Okay, goodbye. You can say that, and it immediately relaxes your mind. Okay, so anything hidden, it's actually hiding in our dark corners of our mind. You don't need to have any dark corners. You can just let things disappear, let things vanish with making more space, with friendliness. So before you go to bed every night, you can you can say this: May all beings be well and happy. May all beings, seen and unseen, be well and happy. And I love you all. And you say that, you go to bed, you get a good night's sleep. You can say that as many times as you want. But don't drink coffee and tea before going to bed. You will have a you'll not get good sleep.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you.
You are welcome. So practice loving friendliness all the time, and you will not wake up with nightmares. And don't watch horror movies. Those are useless. Okay? Because your mind begins to take them as real, and that it's like a cat going by a mirror and getting frightened because of the mirror. It jumps off the mirror, right? That is because the cat thinks that it is real. So when you watch horror movies, your mind thinks, mind gets involved with it. You feel that fear. It's useless to get fooled by that kind of a thought. You have better things to do. Yeah, so you had a bunch of questions. Let me open them. The first question is, please explain the dhyana and abilities acquired by the Lord Buddha when he attained Buddhahood. So even before he attained Buddhahood, he had the abilities, some of the abilities. Upon reaching the Buddhahood, he gained more abilities. So the dhyanas, so let me explain. Your mind is like a lotus, okay? If you have seen a lotus in Sri Lanka, when the lotus gets exposed to sunlight, particularly the outer petals, the sunlight and the dust, it's a little bit, coarse. It's just not as soft as the petals inside. When the mind opens, when the lotus opens, the lotus has these beautiful layers, beautiful petals. These are like These are very delicate, very fragrance-full. You want to touch them. You want to really see them. This is like your mind opening. All the dirt disappears, like the Buddha has given a word, nivaranas, these hindrances. Dirty stuff of the mind disappears, and the luminous, bright mind opens. Beautiful dhyana layers can be seen. So you can, as a child, when you do serious meditation, you will see like how relaxed you are. You can use a YouTube guided meditation like for 10 minutes because you are children. Your meditation will be so strong, and when you have a daily habit of it, you see you will be self-aware of many things, and you will see that you don't have to be self-aware of certain negative things. So this will give you a full like energy control of your own being, starting from the young days, and it will also enhance your memory. So when the Buddha became the Buddha, when you say the dhyanas, he was able to enter the first jhana, second jhana. So these jhanas are levels that he mastered even before he became the Buddha. When you say the dhyanas, I think you also meant that the spiritual abilities that the Buddha cultivated. These include, like, he can levitate in air. He can, if the Buddha was in Colombo right now, he can just appear right in front of me with spiritual psychic abilities. Do you know anybody who can do that in your life right now? Nobody, unfortunately. Even the Superman fails at it. So I think Buddha developed these abilities as a human being with so much effort and commitment. Commitment is a strong word, so you need to really commit to something in order to gain that skill, gain that ability. So I think in other abilities, the Buddha also can read my mind if the Buddha were present here. He can read what is, I can't tell a lie to the Buddha because he knows that I am lying. He can also make fire or water from his body. These are called twin miracles. He can perform miracles. But he didn't want to, attract attention to those because there were other people who could do that. He wanted to teach the Dhamma in such a way that people gain liberation from all sufferings. So as children, we need to learn that the Buddha taught the spiritual abilities, but not to really take them as the only refuge in your life. You yourself can cultivate them, but you don't go knock everybody's door and tell them, oh, I have this ability. Anyone who has any ability, they don't disclose it. They feel humble about it, and they would not use it to attract attention. So the dhyanas that the Buddha developed, they developed like the lotus opening. In the first layer, he just came to, just the beautiful experience of being free from the body. So being free from the body means you don't feel so involved with the body like when you did that meditation. He went so deep in there, and you all can do that. In the second level, he became free from any thought. In the third level, he became like free from any kind of involvement with both the mind and body, I would say, and he became like he came to a balanced state of mind. In the fourth level, he strengthened that balance, and he began exploring infinite consciousness, infinite space, nothingness, and then another level of neither perception nor non-perception. So these are like dhyana scale the Buddha was able to develop. And I can teach about these based on the Buddha's teachings, and that I think I will keep that for another session. With the time constraints we have, your second question is, why is it not possible for a female to aspire to become a Buddha? Anyone can aspire to become the Buddha. When you become the Buddha, becoming male or female does not matter. Okay? At the heart of any awakening, no gender is, needed. Those are like labelings that people have. It's the mind that becomes awakened. So in the past, you may have been a female, and that you can also make a wish to change that state if you want and become a Buddha. But the Buddha sometimes does not, I don't think that the Buddha has ever said that, according to my knowledge so far, but I will investigate on that. I mean, I did some digging yesterday and I could not find any reference to it. When the Buddha gave the freedom for female disciples to enter the Bhikshuni order, Bhikshuni means becoming a nun, they could reach to arahanthood. They could erase their defilements in their mind and be free from suffering. So this shows that being a female is ittibavu no kinkaira. There is that teaching that we find in the scripture that being a female is not a barrier for you to become enlightened. But this is not about becoming a Buddha, but generally to end your sufferings and gain spiritual abilities. There were so many female disciples of the Buddha who became bhikshunis and also cultivated many spiritual psychic abilities. There were so many. So therefore, please don't be discouraged. We still have the teachings and we can also aspire to become enlightened within this own lifetime. So you don't have to think of waiting for another lifetime to become someone, unless you strongly have the desire to become the Buddha, in which case you also can find your path toward that. Once you become the Buddha, you no longer associate yourself in any gender bias. Those are like conventional gender biases that people have in the society. So now the third question is, we learned that the Buddha visited Sri Lanka 3 times. How did the Buddha communicate? In which language? So the Buddha lived in India, and when he traveled by air with levitation skills, when he traveled to Sri Lanka, he was able to communicate just because he mastered many languages at that time. He was able to use his spiritual abilities to communicate. He communicated with divine beings constantly every day, and the language is like mental communication. But because India at that time was also a subordinate kingdom of Sri Lanka, the languages were like very much international in that area. So the Buddha was able to communicate with them just as he communicated with any Indian person. So there were no language barriers for the Buddha. And when the Buddha spoke, his voice was heard by many beings, near and far. That was a skill the Buddha developed over the years of aspiring to be the Buddha. Okay, so I will go through these questions briefly and then come to answer your questions. The Buddha denies the existence of permanent soul, self, who then is being reborn. So it is the belief that in India that there is unbreakable permanent soul. That is the idea that the Buddha breaks. But when you ask the question, who is being born again? It is like you asking, when you have a candle burning and the candle there is a continuity in there because of different conditions. There should be some kind of burning material, some fuel to make that candle burning. There is a wick there, and the fire should be present, and there should be these conditions that make it look like something permanent is happening. But it is that very illusion that the Buddha broke. He was able to break things into small, small, small analytical pieces and show to people that there is no everlasting continuity, of a permanent, like unbreakable thing. But there is a slight, conditioning that happens, giving the people, deceiving the people that there is a soul. When you die, these conditionings continue to happen. One thing leads to another, one thing leads to another, and before you know, your craving has made another home for you to be born somewhere else. And this happens not because you have a soul or a self, it's just there's no permanent something that cannot be broken. This happens because there is this fueling from inside that it connects with something according to the karma that you have collected. So it's like the fire continues to burn until there is conditions for the fire to burn. So it is then you need to understand what is really soul. Like there is this feelings, there are these experiences that you experience, and there are these thoughts. All these little conditions make you feel like, oh, it is me. All the memories make you feel like this is me. And that is conventionally true. But when you investigate with your wisdom, using your teachings, you see that if you told that what you saw is yours, then when you hear something, what you saw disappears. So what happened to you then? This is what the Buddha broke. It's like you can't say this one thing is you, it's all these different little pieces. When they are put together, there is something. It's like when you put different pieces together, you can make a car. By taking just the wheel off, you cannot say that this is the soul, this is the car. You have to have many pieces together. Then you can say this is that car. It's just like the soul is a built concept. Let's investigate that, break things, and you see if you take this I as you, when you die. That's the idea that the Buddha said is wrong. You can't say anything is you. It arises based on conditions. And when these conditions stop, all the flames, the cravings disappear. Therefore, your false view of self also disappears. I trust this is good enough. How do we know that the Buddha has 550 Jataka stories? So the number is fluctuating, sometimes 448. These are the teachings given by the Buddha. Out of many eons of him being born, he taught many examples based on the questions his students asked within his lifetime. To narrate certain things, to explain things clearly, he had to bring his past life stories and show to people that, oh, I was so and so in the past, I was the big elephant, and Venerable Ananda was um, my son, or something like that. So he was convincingly speaking about bringing examples from his past lives, and based on his teachings, we know that we have these Jataka stories. Okay. Did the Buddha predict or tell us that a pandemic like this will come? Yes, he did. There is even a worse pandemic that is yet to come. If you read the Chakravarti Sihanada Sutra, he says something about a future in which people begin looking at others like animals. You have this strong sense that nobody is human, and you feel frightened everywhere. So you have to have weapons, always attacking others, that kind of a future. So we are not there yet. I'm sure we are in a pandemic, and this, Buddha says, when people's uh, virtues, morality decays, pandemics can happen. We also have a problem with infodemics. We have too much information, TikTok information, social media information, too much coming, and there's not one thing that you can focus on. This is for the destruction of humanity. You forget when you go to bathroom, you forget that you're in the bathroom. You just sit there forever TikToking or watching TikToks. This is like an infodemic, being obsessed with information, not knowing that you have a math test coming in the morning. This is when you have a problem. You are hijacked by infodemics. So pay attention as wise children that do you want to be buried in information or do you want to have a lahuka, like relaxed life, like the Buddha said, saying goodbye to these electronics hijacking your intelligence, saying no to drugs, saying no to all kinds of stimulants that are not natural, saying no to computer games, overwhelming amount of like screen time, burning your eyes, locking yourself in bad memory blocks within your own room. Do you know that invisible memory locks are being built constantly in your room? And when you hear the word, oh, I'm bored by someone, you also lock yourself in that. So make sure you hear things and you let them go. You don't personalize them as yours. You destroy these bad memory blocks and build good memory blocks in your room. This helps you to excel in your education. Okay? Okay, we have learned that the Buddha visited and preached the Dhamma in the heavenly planes. Has the Buddha visited hell like that? No, Buddha did not want to visit hell because people in hell realms aren't able to focus on, they are obsessed in their hell habits. That, for example, if someone was dealing with so much anger, they can't come out of anger. Therefore, even if the Buddha visited hell realms, they would not notice it because their life is in a burning situation. This is why anger is like really bad for you. It is like you holding something burning in your hand and wishing somebody else to be burnt. It's like you drinking poison and wishing somebody else will die. This anger is so bad for you that it is already a living hell in you. So when you are in a situation like that, no Buddha, nobody's presence would help you because you are not giving attention to it. So to give attention, you need to be in a, perfect conditions like in a human realm or heavenly realm or Brahma realm, and there you can pay attention and make use of the Buddha's presence and the presence of the Dhamma and Sangha as well. So there are stories from hell, monks, monks reaching, the Buddha even communicated with hell beings and taught these to human beings, like this person has done stealing something small and therefore he is rotting in hell. So this is how the Buddha pulled information from these places. And and when there was an opportunity to free them, the Buddha said, okay, give a, give food to monks, give something to monks, and give something to a beggar. And as a result, this person will be free from this karma and come out and be practicing the Dhamma. And these things have been done by the Buddha. So you can't say that the Buddha did not visit them, did not pay attention to them. He did pay attention and eventually tried to free them from the miserable places. How many Buddhas will there be in the future? The Buddha said there can be many Buddhas in the future, but not one Buddha in one Buddhayan. In one Buddhayan, there is only one Buddha, so we are spending our time in one Buddhayan. That is how we have the teachings. And when this vanishes, the whole universe evolves into a different set of conditions in which there will be another Buddha being born. Okay? How do we get, do we get demerits for eating meat? So, eating meat is a controversial point. When the Buddha's cousin asked, Can monks be forever vegetarian? The Buddha denied, because when monks happen to live in certain village conditions where there is only meat present in that area being offered by other people, then they these monks have to accept it and consume it for living, until they find alternatives. So the Buddha encouraged um, kind of a life that is harmless to any being, but in in kind of supporting any kind of killing. If you know that this animal was killed for you, if you have doubts, the Buddha said that is bad for you. Don't consume that food. So what about the food that comes to supermarket? They come because it's not focused directly on you, but they come because um, people eat them. Indirectly, we have contributed it, because you see all these videos of animals being killed in really in mass scale. And if you can not if you can say no to these things, if you can really like raise awareness about these things, not to really torture animals, not to separate them from their parents, if you can be an example like that, I think any little demerit that you may have can be overcome. And can any evil karma that you have done, except the five gravest offenses like killing parents, killing a Buddha, killing an Arahant, or shaking blood of a Buddha or an Arahant, or causing separation or schism in monks, except those, any other akusala karma, any demerit that you did, you can overcome it by doing meditation, by practicing giving, by practicing kind words, by practicing wholesome good thoughts. So there's nothing permanently blocking you from overcoming any demerits, but you can continuously think of uh, resorting to a meal that is wholesome, that that you have less doubts like that. And I encourage you to like follow that intuition, and you will be free from worrying and questioning. Okay, time to end, but do you have any last questions before I end? Okay, so how does staying present moment and being mindful help you be relaxed? You just experienced that in meditation. We were being present with breath, and you notice that when you did that honestly enough, that your body and mind relaxed because your brain stopped being so active. That is the key. Okay, how does okay, that question has come two times. All right, any more last things before we end the session for today, Arvin?
Sure. Also, do hunters also destroy animals' habitats?
They do.
Hunters
They're,
also destroy animals' habitats. That
yes,
means endangered.
they do destroy animal habitats. There have been hunters in the past, and
Also
there
kill.
always be hunters in the future. And also, government organizations also control animal habitat areas.
And
Um,
also they kill animals that are extinct.
can you say that again?
Also, hunters actually kill animals that are extinct.
Extinct, that's right. We human beings have no power to make decisions on animal lives. Now you see, COVID is not affecting animals as such. COVID is looking at humans. Animals are apparently safe in remote jungles. Therefore, we need to kind of step back and make a conscious decision that we are just as ordinary as other animal beings, and not take any control, any power. Power is needed when you need to destroy something. Otherwise, love is enough. So think about that. Okay, so let's see if I have any. Okay, so this sermon is sponsored by Chaminda and Lashita Nagahavatta to invoke blessings on their twin daughters, Tisumi and Senumi, who celebrate their birthday on the 23rd May. So that is actually today. Happy birthday. Let's say happy birthday to them. And also to extend good wishes for their son, Chenit. They also wish to offer these merits to Lakshita's dear father, Mr. Percy Gunwardana, who passed away 5 months ago. May he attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Thank you. So it is with their generosity and kindness and good intention that we had a Dhamma session and meditation session today. Happy birthday to children. Happy birthday to all of you when you have your birthdays.
Birthday.
Happy birthday. Okay, so shall we end? May good things happen to all of you and all the best, and we will meet in another session.
You too.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Say sadhu 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu,
Okay, Vesak.
Saranai.
Sadhu,
What
saranai.
another session?
We, yeah,
Have
another time.
a session waiter?
Let's see. I think you do. According to the schedule, from 11:15 to 12 is Buddha Puja and reciting Karaniyametta Sutta, and that will be a kind of with that will end the there will be the ending part of the program.
And I have a question. And what about like there's a 6:30 for the song, so
Yeah, that too, but you will have to rejoin the Zoom at that time.
is it this Zoom the same Zoom that we're in?
This morning program ends at noon, and then at 6:30 you have Vesak songs and Vesak drama, and also Buddha Puja at 8 p.m. and ending at 8:30. You have many good things happening, and try to attend all of them because it's celebrating Buddha's 3 significant life events. An opportunity this year to really make the best use of it. Yes, also you will have to eat. You don't go hungry today. Okay, so I'll pass to Bantes to continue, and I will mute myself from my end. Buddha Saranai.
But Sarah and I.